I have not got favorable reviews. And I was new to the industry and I had no idea, and I went into deep kind of depression.
Or you read a bad review, I would probably reach out to my dad saying, I read this. And he's like, yeah, I've read all this. Those who were criticizing me in the 80s are not here anymore. Now there's some new people. So he's like, don't bother with it.
You should see what people had to write about Sunny's films, which are all super hits and smashed today. They're cult films.
End of the day, it's the work which should speak and nothing else. And once your work starts speaking, you don't need to do anything.
Why don't critics have any accountability? Who's going to make them accountable?
Hi and welcome to midday.com. Joining us today we have the team of a film that's called Chup, but making a lot of noise ever since the trailer released. So that's R Balki, Dulquer Salmaan and of course Deol. And the trailer has been receiving so much love. What do you have to say about that?
Give me more love.
No, but sir, we have to ask you, you are one filmmaker who's always got favorable reviews. So you coming up with a concept like this is very interesting.
I have not got favorable reviews. And it actually was based actually on my very first film, Did Chini Come, and we had this fantastic premiere in London and we thought we made a great film, and every filmmaker thinks he's made the best film in the world. I'm no different. So you come back here. Those days, Saturday used to be the major review. It used to happen with one major reviewer. And he had slammed the film, and I was new to the industry and I had no idea, and I went into deep kind of depression, and I'm just trying to call saying that the film is doing damn well, people are loving it, and nothing would kind of motivate me. So I think from that time I have been psychologically affected by reviews. So this thought actually happened very long back. It took me a long time to write it, but this thought kind of happened way back then.
And the cast, which is so interesting. So how did that happen?
I think every film gets the people that the film requires. I mean, actually, people gravitate towards the film and the film gravitates towards the people. And I think both Dulquer and Sunny are people that I can't even imagine the film without. In fact, Dulquer, I remember, I called him during the COVID time. In fact, we've never had a discussion about the film. I just narrated to him over Zoom once, I think 3 years back.
Yeah.
Was there? And that's it. And that's all the conversation we've had. Sunny, I mean, there's no need to have a reason to have Sunny in a film. Sunny is there, says Sunny. And I just thought that he has the most glorious presence that you've seen in this industry. So I just met him, just had this thought one day, and I just met him. And he loved the idea, and that's all we ever spoke about. He said, okay, we'll do it. And this was as simple as that. So the cast actually, it just happened.
And Sunny sir and Dulquer, what was your reaction? Because the film is kind of twisted, but it has its comic elements as well. Yeah. I think it's the first time I was scared and laughing at the same time because of the concept.
That's pretty much the film. Like you've summarized what we're trying to achieve.
So what was both of your reactions?
I was, obviously when Balki came and narrated me the idea, I was very, it took me by surprise, and I was very excited about it because we usually are most of the time trying to do remakes or something or the other. It was so fresh and so nice and so interesting. And I'm a very instinctive person. Ek cheez pasand aati hai to pasand aati hai. I don't try to go more deep into it, and that's how I got into it, and that's what it was all about.
And I must tell you what Sunny did. And I told him the film, Sunny is a filmmaker. First and an actor next, actually, because he knows more about filmmaking than I do. So I tell him the film, and I have a 2-hour narration. He tells me back the film in exactly 3.5 minutes. Okay. That is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. Correct? Okay. That's it.
That's so cool, actually. Yeah, and Dulquer, please.
I was quite surprised that Balki was attempting something like this. That excited me because it's so different from his other films. And it wasn't even what I was expecting when he said, "Hey, I want to tell you this idea." So I've seen all his films and I know. And I was like, "What? This is what you want to make?" It just seems so unique. All of you, even from watching the trailer, how everyone's reacting is I think how I reacted to listening to the narration. But I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I felt like all of us are stepping out of our comfort zones and trying something new. But it was a very well written idea. It was very solid in that sense. Like the entire narration, I couldn't predict where it's going, and loved it. So we had to be a part of it.
And Sunny sir, like Balki sir also said that you are a director, producer, politician also, and actor, and people have been waiting to see you on the big screen. So how's that been?
He's not a
That journey?
politician.
It was interesting, but everybody wants to make an interesting film, and it is not interesting film means it has proper content where you get involved, indulge into the characters, and there's suspense, there's excitement, and there's anger, and there's a little romance, and everything happening, and the subject has everything in it, and it falls very well. So definitely, and that's what one always looks for. Otherwise, you rarely come across stories which are narrated to you. Mostly they are say, "Ye picture hum ye bana rahe hain." That has been the off or biopic bana rahe hain, ye kar rahe hain. Nobody is going into the actually coming out with a subject. So I think, and I've always been a person who wants to hear subjects and rather do that than do something else. And I was very excited about the whole thing.
Yeah, and the Guru Dutt references are also beautiful. So how did that happen?
If you actually were to search for a filmmaker whose last film was really destroyed him, was Guru Dutt. Ironically, we all celebrate the film today as a classic, but we didn't then. And I have got some of the original reviews of that film back then. It's shocking. And we've done that to a lot of films. After that we've dug out so many reviews. You should see what people had to write about Sunny's films, which are all super hits and smashed today. They're cult films. And same thing for Amitji's films. So many cult films, like Sholay, of course, everybody knows how it was trash. And it became a blockbuster. Then Muqaddar Ka Sikandar, people had said that he was finished. It was his last thing. And see, things happen. And, I've always wondered why it is that, somebody takes about 2 years to make a film. And then somebody just passes an opinion on it. I mean, everybody's free to pass an opinion. But when your opinion's in public domain, and a lot of people are going to be affected by it, you've got to think about it. It's somebody's work. If it's not in public domain, you can do what you want. As an audience, you've got every right because you're paying for the film and you can say yes, good or bad. But if you're a professional, then you need to put a little bit more than what the audience does into a film. That I've found is always, it's an unfair thing. And I always found that why don't critics have any accountability? Who's going to make them accountable? They are holding us accountable for a good film or a bad film, then who's going to make them accountable? So this thought had happened to me, like I told you, after Chini Kam. So it stayed with me, and it still is very relevant today.
And especially, I think, in the time of social media where everyone is a film critic, it's even more relevant.
I think we as a nation, not a nation, I think it's worldwide, this is the same phenomenon. We are almost today waiting for things to go wrong. Then our voice is heard. We're waiting for something to be bad. We are more overjoyed when it's bad than when it's good. And that is strangely disturbing. Why are we all, there's so much noise when something is bad, when something's proven, oh God, it's shit. The shit is told with so much, smile. You can see the smile on people's faces when you say it, oh, it's shit. When it's good, yeah, it's good. Fine, it's good. Good is, it's almost like the credit is good to somebody else, and anyway, my voice is not going to get heard. So if I say good, but bad means my voice will be heard. It's things like that. So I think we've become a population or a global community of,
I think it's high time, the media and everybody who's got a voice take their profession seriously and with responsibility. Like they tell us you're a responsible citizen, they should also take it up with the responsibility. End of the day, you should have a heart first, and you should be sensible, like our parents tell you. Think twice what you speak and why you speak. And speak what we say in the name of journalism, we have to tell them. In the name of journalism, you're not supposed to say it in such a way that the crux is not written in it. That comes later on in the part. In the beginning, you say something which destroys, and it destroys. Everybody is not so strong who can withstand that. And with that, what happens? Most of the innocent people are the victims, because with the power of a person who can say something and pass judgment. So those, कहीं कुछ हो जाता है, उसके बारे में ना बोलें तो बेहतर है, लेकिन उसके बारे में ऐसे बोल देंगे कि दूसरी तीसरी जगह जाके इतने लोग मर रहे हैं, और कसूर उस वहाँ हुआ उसका हादसा का नहीं है, ये जो आपने उसको छेड़ा और आगे किया. तो ये जिम्मेदारी is very important.
जी बिल्कुल, that's so true. And as actors, for both of you all, where do you all draw the line at, how much do you all read of what is written about you all, especially film reviews?
मैं तो पढ़ता ही नहीं हूँ. Basically, when you're young, when you're starting off, everything matters. Kisne kya bola matters. What somebody matters. Everything matters because you feel you are the person and you want everybody to be, accepting you and things to move that way. But then suddenly you start, you get angry, you get upset, you get violent, whatever it is. You go through all the emotion. But as time goes by, you start realizing what the reality is. And the minute jab aap wahan tak pahunch jate ho, then it doesn't matter actually, because end of the day, it's the work which should speak and nothing else. And once your work starts speaking, you don't need to do anything.
I mean, I read it, and I mean, I'm human, so I end up scanning the positive stuff and like focusing on the negative. But over time, I feel like it's affected me less. Over time, I feel I've now reached a certain security as an actor. I feel a little more secure about my career. Like maybe the first few years, I didn't know where this would go, whether I would have any future here. And so everything was affecting me. I felt like people were writing me off, and I'm finished. So those questions would constantly haunt me. I'd be lying if I said I don't look at it. I do definitely look at it.
Yeah. Both of you all also have something else in common. You all come from families where, it's iconic, film families. And especially your dads, the kind of influence they have had on the audience, that's very rare. And of course, they're still, superstars in their own right. So how has your journey been, like seeing them and then holding your own?
You first. I think it was important for me to break away from being associated. I mean, that's not, I can't lose my last name ever, but I feel like just what they see on screen, I always wanted to have my own identity. I wanted them to see me. I wanted them to see me as an actor or the characters I'm playing. I also wanted to find my own cinema. I wanted it to be different from what he's done or the kind of movies he's done. And I think over the course of time, I think I've reached somewhere along the way. I think I've got that, which I'm very grateful for. But it's a great joy to kind of be working side by side, at the same time, to be in the same industry, or share some notes once in a while. Especially like when you have a bad day or you read a bad review, I would probably reach out to my dad saying, I read this. And he's like, yeah, I've read all this. I've read this. Those who were criticizing me in the 80s are not here anymore. Now there's some new people. So he's like, don't bother with it.
Definitely, because when I joined in, and that time the cinema was really ruled by Papa, Amit Ji, Shatru, Vinod Khanna. So many other actors were there which were so big, and that's the time when we entered in. And that time they would do the youngsters role. Youngsters were not doing the youngsters role. So when he came in, obviously the image was always there, but I never took the image heavy on me, because obviously he's my dad and obviously he's the best, he is good. I have to make my path. So I didn't want that to affect me, because I have to pave my path. And I was fortunate enough, because that time I was not much into that kind of a cinema. So I started doing films like Arjun, then the Betab Arjun, then there was Yatim, there was Dulquer. So I was fortunate enough to get the writers and the directors who were in my age in that time, and they were also wanting to do this kind of a cinema. So we were so wanting to do those things. And when I came in, people were doing so many films together. I just wanted to do one film at a time that time. And later on I found I was the only foolish one, because my shooting pe jata tha, bakiyon ki dates nahi hoti thi. Mere 3-3, 4-4 mahine chale gaye and I'm doing nothing. Because getting other actors used to be such a pain. Then eventually I had to get into the circle of what the cinema is, and then later on then I filtered into it very well. I remember not wanting to do one particular film because of a remake of a film from somewhere. And I was very adamant, I don't want to do this, is not my cinema. But my dad said, you have to do it, and they all insisted. Fortunately, it was a big hit, but I was not, then slowly I molded myself, I got into the whole thing, because every time you can't get a great script or a script that you really want to do, it'll come somewhere. That's the journey basically.
And it was truly lovely having the three of you. Thank you so much for doing this. Looking forward to your movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.